Thank you, all thank you. Mero who is driving me. Francis. So please. Yeah, the lights. Probably can see, don't worry. Can we turn off the lights? The front one.
Good afternoon, Honorable President. So, we'll be presenting the performance of the Assembly in terms of the DACF and the IGF, as well as projects, programs and projects that these funds have been used for. So, I'll skip our outline will be the financial performance, the legacy project, the District Assembly Common Fund allocation, and the interventions, as well as we'll look at the conclusion. I'll skip this part because we are all aware of the profile of the Assembly. So for the revenue performance, as at 2026, the fourth quarter of the DACF had been released. That's about 6,153,543. IGF as at the second quarter is 16,210,000. GOG decentralized departments, and as well as the MP and PW fund. The total as at second quarter was 25,963,635.54. And this is the breakdown of the DACF for 2025. Yes, so as a second quarter, as I mentioned, the revenue performance of the Assembly was 25,963,635.54 Ghana cedis. And the projected figure for 2026 was 93,305,281. So you can say we have performed about half or 25% of our projected figure. And as I said, this is the releases for 2025. The fourth quarter came in on 16th April 2026, and the total is 20,180,890. So some of the projects these funds have been used for, these are some of the legacy projects. Wireless cluster of school, Ajimine Drain, the La Market, as well as St. Paul's cluster of schools. So I'll show a few pictures. This is the wireless cluster of school. This is the market complex, and then St. Paul's. Then these are some of the capital expenditures that have been used. So Drain at Chado, Tenashi Primary, and then Salem. So for 2025 DACF, these are some of the educational projects that the funds have been used for. That's La Salem, that's a 1 number 3 unit classroom block. And then Rangoon, which is 1 number 6 unit classroom block. And then Tenashi, which is also 1 number 2 kg. So these are some of the pictures. This is for Salem. This is for Rangoon. And then these are some of the pictures for Tenashi. Under water and sanitation, these are some of what the funds were used for. Under sanitation, there was construction of fence wall around the dam site. That's Alonteba, Landing Beach, La Salem, and the transfer station just behind here. Also, some of the funds were used for the national sanitation, and then the construction of 10 number boreholes, mechanized boreholes within the community. I'll later provide details on the locations. So these are the fence walls. And this is for Alonteba. This is Landing Beach. This is La Salem. And this is just behind here, the transfer station, behind the assembly. And these are some pictures from the National Sanitation Day exercise from last year. And these are the locations for the boreholes. Most of them were for the schools. So we have Kotoka Primary, Forces, First Signal, and it goes on. There are about 10 sites. I think the police station also has one, and as well as ABC, the clan house. I'm talking. So these are some of the pictures for the drilling of the boreholes within the community. And most of the areas are within the schools, as I said. Yes. So there's Kotoka Primary, Forces, First Signal, St. Thomas Aquinas, and also there are two in the community, the police station, and then also ABC Clan House. So for 2025 IGF, these are what some of the project the funds were used for. One is the construction of the revenue mobilization office just behind the court. Also the purchase of a bus, 14-seater bus, as well as a pickup, one number pickup. And the drains and roads and drains, there are a couple of projects that have been used, that IGF has been used for. We have construction of 4 number Rambo strips at Mantiase, Laboni. There's also 0.24 kilometer of 0.6 drain at Apapa, and then also some pothole patching. These are some of the pictures from the drainage construction. The silting works are also listed here, which were all from IGF. And these are some of the pictures, Zenith drainage. Yes, and for 2026 allocation, these are the 2026 DACF allocation. The funds are being used for, one is homeschool, which is 1 number 3-story 18 unit classroom block with ancillary facilities. And this is an artistic impression of how the project will look like. And also, funds will be dedicated to construction of 1 number 6 unit at association. And for IGF, we've started some of the security lights and street lights, and also the renovation of the revenue annex office at education office. And I think that is completed. So, Honorable Presiding Member, thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Honorable members, so that's the presentation so far we have from. If we have questions to 13 if not, we will discharge him and then we'll continue.
I want to make one correction.
Okay, roll back.
The common fund, the published allocation to LaDMA is no longer the figure we received for the budget preparation. It's now 34 million plus. So our revenue project
will not be 93 million. It will be something around 61 million. That's the correction I want to make.
Okay.
You know, every year when we are about preparing a budget, Ministry of Finance will give you allocation based on which you do that budget. But when they published the allocation, the whole Ghana, they have published the allocation, provided the indicators that made you got what you got. So on that list, LaDMA had 34 million, no longer the 60 million that we received per allocation letter. So if you correct that figure, our projected revenue for 2026 will not be 93 million. Yes, that's what I was telling you. So if 60, that gives you about 26 million has been decided. So if you minus 93 from 26 from 93, you will get your projected revenue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Honorable members.
Honorable members, Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable President. I'm so grateful. The gentleman did good work, but refused to introduce himself. That's the first question. I think before we proceed, you heard the clarification that was made by your boss. I'll humbly advise that next time you come in to present to us, let us have copies of it. Okay? So we could attest to whatever you presented. Because we are here to attest to project that LaDMA is doing. So our locals and the citizens will get themselves well abreast whatever is happening. So please, for us to be able to peruse the document and scrutinize, kindly let us have copies, okay?
President LaDMA, my interest is in 2026. I don't know so far the money that we have received.
For DACF, the fourth quarter of last year came this year, and that's 6,153,543. And then IGF has a second quarter is 16,210,980.95.
This time again, IGF for 2026.
Yes, as a second quarter.
Yes, okay, yes.
16,210,820.95 Ghana cedis. Plus GOG, that's decentralized departments, as well as LP's common fund. The total comes to 25,963,635.54 as at second quarter 20. 635. 35.54.
So far, the expenditure for the 2025 common fund, all we use for. I said we received the last quarter, so can I know some of the projects we use it for?
Yeah.
You know, the people are interested in what we do in our communities, and that's what project us. Do you have that one? If you don't have it,
Yes, Honorable, the pictures that he showed, the Rangoon Tenashi Primary and then Salem are all funded from 2025 Common Fund.
so we are still paying.
Yes, we are still paying.
Oh,
Rangoon, the contractor just raised the first certificate.
You know, that contractor, he works in far advance before he gets. According to you, you want to have substantial money. So whatever little that he has, he will use on the work. He will first certificate. The second certificate, he will be handing over to you. So since he starts at the roofing level, he has installed the roofing members. He just raised the first certificate. For the common fund is designed so that you know it very well, being the former dean of PMs. The common fund is designed in such a way that 3/4 is disbursed in the current year, and then the final quarter, that is the fourth quarter, will come within first quarter, and then of the 2024 and of the ensuing year. So the current year, we have not received any common fund release, but what we received in somewhere March, April was for the last quarter of 2025. IGF, the 2026, the physical project we intend using IGF for is the association, the continuation of the association, and then the new vehicles that we have advertised. And we envisage that, in fact, we are trying to do some permutation with the common fund allocation formula that they gave us. Per the thematic allocations that they gave us, if you are to go by it, we will use about 2.5 years before we can complete the 18-unit classroom block. So the original thinking was to complement it with IGF, but I don't know whether in my absence the director had mentioned it. We are writing to the minister. I think the letter had already even gone to allow us to vary the percentages so that we can have substantial money to do our legacy project that we intend doing. So when that is done, at least we can have about 7 million cedis for education that can adequately fund the 80-unit classroom block. If it falls short of that, we will fall on IGF to complete the project. Otherwise, none of our 18-unit classroom block can be completed within a year with funding from common fund.
DACF and then IGF release and projects. So I don't know if we are shifting it to 2026. I want us to focus on the 2025 because that is what
I think he explained that.
Oh, not for him, but maybe when the floor is open, other
right,
members. So we've been shown Tenashi, Rangoon, Salem. I want to know when these projects will be completed. Tenashi, Rangoon, Salem. Salem, the last time I heard, I'm told anytime soon the contractor will hand over the other two projects. And then the borehole, when would it be commissioned? When are we completing it? If there's any other 2025 project, you can please add to it. When is it completing? Thank you.
Okay, Honorable. I want to understand your question. Do you want the completion date or inauguration date? Okay, I think yesterday when Engineer Opoti was doing his presentation, he mentioned that the project duration was about 8 months. 6 months. And I think Salem is well within the 6 months. Okay, let me hand over to Engineer.
Honorable Presiding Member, thank you very much. For Salem, like I said, I think if God permits, by end of this month, which is next week, the contractor will hand over the project to us. So for that one, the rest are short. Rangoon is supposed to hand over in October. They are doing the roofing now, putting the roofing roofing sheet on it, and start the finishing. So I think by October we'll get that school too. Before my prayer is it should hand over before school reopen in September. So we'll pursue on him. Like he said, we are processing his payment for the first phase. So I think the moment he get the money, if God permits, he will hand over to us before the school reopen in October. Likewise, the Tenashi, the KG. The KG, I think by end of August, that one too will be ready. So when school reopen, the children will start using that place. So for ongoing projects, this is what I can say on the education. The boreholes, I think by next month, they will hand over all the boreholes to us. Yes. We're only facing small challenges, finance, but we'll move in tomorrow to sort it out. But the other schools is ongoing.
Okay.
And Honorable PM, we are anticipating that by December, all projects that is ongoing will be put to use. That is our anticipation. So that we can have a zero sheet for next year.
Okay. I don't remember saying any more. I don't know if you want to ask.
Yeah, so October, August, and that I say in December. You know when the sector minister, Honorable Ahmed, came here the last time, it was like the money is in the account, we are not using it. Since the money is in the account, the impression is we are not doing anything. That is the first impression before explanation comes. So if there are timelines to the contracts, please let's make sure they finish on time so we clear the account, and then should anybody see the account, it wouldn't be like we are not doing anything. Like I said, when the account is seen, the first impression is they are not using the money. So let's be on them to finish on time. And then also IGF projects, BAS, and then what else? 2025. I'm talking of 2025. Yes, please. If you can roll back to. If there's any capital project for IGF 2025. Okay, so drain at Seashell, drain at Apapa was from IGF. Okay. Thank you.
At the time we were preparing the 2025 Common Fund budget, there was no provision for drains construction. There was no provision. And we have been given the leverage to use sanitation vote, and then per our letter to sanitation vote and borehole infrastructure to also construct some drains. So for 2026, we are trying as much as possible to offload some drainage works to common fund because the values are a little bit substantial. Yes, your area drain.
Okay,
I'm happy with your last statement. The drain deficit we have in the municipality is huge. Not too long ago, we were talking about flood, and one of the ways to mitigate the flood is to have some number of drains to carry the water to its final destination. So I'm pleading, since management is complying with the directive that the DACF for sanitation can be used or can be channeled to drains, I'm in support. And I pray that we do so 2026, that we have a lot of drains in our municipality. Like the former presiding member said, people are looking for capital projects. They are looking for capital projects. That is what, when they see, they know the assembly is working. So let's try and then bring development to them. So DACF, we want to see more drains, especially from the sanitation.
Honorable said, I want you to load everything because that's your last question. You are done. Okay.
Thank you, Honorable PM. I hope we are discharged.
Are you ordering the presiding member to discharge you? Or
I heard that was the last question. That's why I said I hope we are discharged.
Okay, Honorable Alaji.
Finish.
But they mentioned the date. You step out, eh?
Contract has a duration, and we will only be alarmed when the contractor is not progressing. But as you and I have witnessed on site, we hope that he will complete within the contract duration. And engineer mentioned that we are hoping that the place will be handed over for the next academic year. And I also said that We are hoping that all ongoing projects now, including wireless, will be put to use by December 31st. That is our prayer.
All right, Director C.